Hello, Contrarians listeners, Contrarians watchers, anybody who happened to just find this video on the World Wide Web. Here we are with the latest Contrarians warm up. This is where we get you ready for our latest episode. In this case, it is The Long Goodbye, noir film starring Elliott Gould. Those words don't seem to go together, but they do. There's a movie that exists and it's super fresh. And it was demanded by a patron and friend of the show now, Dale Bridges, the author of The Mean Reds, a book that we've championed over several episodes. Dale is going to join us in the main episode. Here for this warm up is just Alex and I getting you what do you expect in these warm ups? A little extra trivia, a few more quotes from Rotten Tomatoes, and of course the Josh Gad minute. So, Alex, let's get started. I have 5 fresh quotes for you. This movie is surprisingly fresh, not just fresh, but certified fresh. So there was a lot to choose from. I'm going to start with Dan Feinberg from Zap2it.com, who says, "The reluctant and satirical mystery is one of the great Los Angeles movies and makes a great compliment to, say, The Big Lebowski."
Comes up a few times in the episode.
I was going to say, we give The Big Lebowski its dues, but I guess let's, for the sake of discussion, do you think the dude would do better in this mystery, in the Long Goodbye mystery, than Elliott Gould does?
Maybe on charm alone, yeah, he would succeed. Just I don't know, man. The dude, I was gonna say, Elliott Gould's getting kind of schnockered a few different parts of this movie, but the dude's obviously just like perpetually or perennially stoned. So I don't know. Maybe.
I think if he brings Walter, if you have the dude and John Goodman, then they're just unstoppable. Nobody's bullying.
Yeah.
I was going to say Elliott Gould, but the detective, if you have John Goodman next to him. Now, on the other hand, if you put Elliott Gould in The Big Lebowski, I don't know that he makes it to the end.
He gets shot with Steve Buscemi in the parking lot.
Yes, yeah, I think the neo-Nazis or whatever they are, like I think that they get him at the end. All right, next, Andrew Wright from The Stranger, Seattle, Washington, says, "Everywhere you look, there's something delightfully weird going on. Altman and company fashion a state of slouching, freeform zen that no one else has ever really duplicated." No one else has ever really duplicated? I mean, take The Big Lebowski aside.
Genre. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think we have. Who knows when this review was posted, but I think that we've had our share of just kind of slouching freeform Zen detectives since, and we actually called them out a little bit in the episode too.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Garfield in Under the Silver Lake, Joaquin Phoenix in that PTA movie, Inherent Vice. I would say even
a gumshoe.
Robert Downey Jr. in the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies. He's kind of unkempt and just kind
Jake
of bumbling
Gyllenhaal
his way.
Zodiac.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Philip Martin from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette says, "One of those movies that always flits through my mind when someone asks me to name my favorite movies of all time. I usually don't mention it, but it's always there on the periphery. It's at least one of my 2 or 3 favorite Altmans." Man, I can't, and granted, we admit this in the episode, I'm not super familiar with Robert Altman's filmography. I've seen like 3 or 4 of his movies, but to say like my 2 or 3 favorite Altmans, like that makes it sound like Robert Altman has made more movies than I think he has.
Yeah. No, I'm with you in terms of like I'm more familiar with the idea of Robert Altman than I am his movies, and it's a shortcoming on my side. But, if you're into a director enough, like you and I often talk about certain directors and it's, like your favorite child type thing, that's Scorsese. I'm sure you would say you have like a top 2 or 3 favorite Scorsese movies.
Yes, but look, we're gonna like check it right now.
Me with Rob Zombie. I have a 2 or 3 favorite Rob Zombie movies.
That's a little more like that because Zombie has made like what, 6 movies. Robert Altman, I'm going to say, has made half the movies that Scorsese has made. Let's see. Of course, you know.
And I'm gonna do in my head the movies Rob Zombie's directed.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, you can't trust IMDb because they list everything. Like, he
The, the,
directed a commercial, they're gonna put it there.
yeah, I saw it says 90. He has 90 directing
No
credits.
way.
I've never seen MASH. Like that's one of my like bucket list things is watch all of MASH and the movie. I don't think I ever will.
That's
So
quite the undertaking. Start with Popeye.
I have seen Popeye many years ago, to the
Really?
point where I was such a little kid that I don't remember Popeye with Robin Williams, right?
Right.
It was one of those, like, I was a little kid and I remember renting it at the video store because I liked the Popeye cartoon. And I remember none of it. I probably just watched it in utter confusion. So I should revisit it.
Okay, we're gonna quit here. You know, you guys can like Google it and figure out, because I went to Wikipedia and I accidentally clicked on Robert A. Altman, and I was like, "Where the hell is his filmography?" And this is I didn't even look at the picture. This is not Robert Altman.
If you Google how many movies did Robert Altman make, the Google response says at least 29.
Okay, do the same for Scorsese.
Spielberg, I guess, has the record with 35.
That's less than I expected.
25 for old Scorsese.
Okay, so it's
Again,
not as
these are
much
very, very quick Google searches.
Yes.
So please, we are not beholden to these numbers.
Yeah, let's just. I'll leave it up to you, viewers, listeners. You guys figure it out and reach back to us.
You decide.
Yes. Ren Gender from Bitch Flicks says Lee Brackett's script and particularly Elliott Gould's performance are like a mashup of the best parts of 1930s and 40s screwball comedies and detective movies from the same era with 70s realism thrown in. Tasties too, 1930s, 1940s, and the realism of the 70s. It shouldn't work. It seems like it's. But then again, maybe I'm just not as well versed in the 30s and 40s to really be a good judge of whether this was just like the most obvious idea that was just waiting for somebody to come along and do it, or if Robert Altman really took a chance and, you know, knocked it out of the park. All I can tell you is like it got him to the Criterion collection again.
Got him on the shelf.
Yeah. All right, we're going to close this part with Sean Axemaker from Stream On Demand, who says Robert Altman's film, scripted and streamlined by Lee Brackett, who helped adapt The Big Sleep for Howard Hawks, reimagines Philip Marlowe as the last of the old school detectives in a world that has moved on. This is your first Philip Marlowe exposure, Alex. I watched The Big Sleep a few weeks ago, just kind of like as a preview, and I was shocked it's too dramatic, but I was kind of surprised to find out that there's a new Philip Marlowe movie starring Liam Neeson as Philip Marlowe that just came out, I don't know, within the last year.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Can you reconcile, like, Humphrey Bogart in The Big Sleep, Elliott Gould in The Long Goodbye, and Liam Neeson in, I think it's called Marlowe?
That's a natural progression right there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Liam
aging
Neeson's
of man.
awesome. Liam Neeson, we talk about, is obviously one of those like classically trained actors and shit. So it's not like we're jumping to fucking, yeah, I want to say Chris Pratt, but no disrespect to Chris Pratt. You know, I'm trying to think of just like a modern like name that kind of dominate a Charlie Day or something. Not hating on Charlie Day, but yeah, that seems like a natural chain of events to end up with Qui-Gon Jinn at the helm there. So, and yeah, more of that. There's not enough anthology franchises anymore. You know, people know Bond and shit, but we need more of that.
I want Charlie Day as Marlowe Jr. It's just son of Marlowe.
I just think of Charlie Day. Yeah, he's very erratic and screams. That's what I think of.
I am curious. Directed by probably Marty Scorsese. No, it's directed by Neil Jordan. Interview with the Vampire, Neil Jordan. I don't know. Coming soon to a Patreon exclusive.
If I ever come across it, I'm not opposed to watching it.
All right. Well, from Liam Neeson to a much more popular, crowd-pleasing actor. Alex, before we head into trivia, let's take care of the Josh Gad minute. Do you have an inkling of where you put Josh Gad here?
Yeah, he replaces David Carradine, and he's the crazy cellmate that because David Carradine was uncredited, and it seems like that would just probably right that he's like the rambling cellmate that as the movie goes on, people are like, wait, was that Josh Gad? Was that LeFou?
Well, how about this, Alex? If we're gonna go in that direction, how about he replaces the other uncredited star in this movie?
No, no. You keep young, virile Arnold in that role because, again, as we launch into in the episode, him with his shirt off in this is just a sight to behold. It's necessary to the movie.
Yes.
It's integral.
Well, we could go a little darker then. And I think because I want Josh Gad to have a little bit more than just a cameo. And what if he is Maddox? No, Lennox, right? Lennox is the guy that disappears. So we open the movie with him. The difficult part is that you'll see with the bloody knuckles and everything. You're like, do you buy Josh Gad as somebody who could have maybe murdered his wife?
You could also have him be the cop that interrogates Elliott Gould.
No.
Like it's again a small part, but it's
with
very
the slurs. Do you keep
it's
the
very
slurs?
brutal. Well, we acclimate it to modern times,
Okay,
but
good.
I think with a movie like this, you got to use the Gad. You got to get in and get out. It's like a Tootsie Roll. You just eat it and you're done with it and you want to move on from it. And then years from then, you'll think about like, man, remember the last time I had a Tootsie Roll? Or you'll think about, man, remember Josh Gad when he was in that movie for 2 minutes and just kind of like rocked the shit?
We've agreed, and if you disagree, you can let us know. Where would you put Josh Gad in the cast of thousands that make up the the players of The Long Goodbye? Maybe you want him as the writer, the drunk, right? Or maybe you want him as Marlowe. I don't know. If Liam Neeson can do it, why not Josh Gad? That takes care of the Josh Gad minute. Let's go to trivia. Alex, what do you have for us?
Released on March 7th of 1973, a budget of 1.7 million. Box office of less than 1 million, as we talk about in the episode, was not greeted with open arms upon its initial release, based on The Long Goodbye by Raymond Chandler and another in the entry of P.I. Philip Marlowe's long and winding tales. Elliott Gould smokes in every scene. We talk about at length the excessive use of tobacco and alcohol in the film, and that's definitely one of them. Elliott Gould just like cigarettes constantly going. He had to have emphysema by the time this recording was over. In a similar vein, Sterling Hayden wrote all of his scenes, and the scenes specifically where they're drinking were all improvised, and there's specifically one on the beach that was improvised, and this was because, and we talk about in the episode, Sterling Hayden at that point was kind of a notorious alcoholic, and he was already far past gone. He was drunk and said he was high most of the filming. Not like hard drugs, but weed. And like if you're like me, marijuana it can be very good, but I could not recite lines that I was supposed to if I was high. So that's I guess the point. He was just like, well, fuck it, I'll just say what I want. He doesn't say anything random like I'll fix your Rubik's Cube, but there's clearly a distance with his character the whole time.
Well, I'm glad they didn't go as far as to give him writing credit or something that we really fucked up with.
Yeah.
Lee Brackett and this dude as co-writers.
A big thing we discussed in the episode is that Robert Altman decided the camera should never stop moving and be put on a dolly. However, the camera movements would counter the action of the characters so that the audience would feel like a voyeur. Julio, we talk about this in the episode. This is not, when I say the camera's not steady, it's not the Bourne cam. Where's art gone, Julio? It's the Bourne cam for action, or it's pretty much the same thing. The Office, like the mockumentary camera.
Well, that's not Bourne though. Bourne is just like jumping up and down and rolling, and The Office is just unsteady. And
do you think do the directors of today know what a dolly is? Is it the thing their coffee comes in on?
Yes,
and their croissants.
It's the thing where the drone lands. That's yes. What they use the dolly for now. And I mean,
have a big X painted on it.
It's probably just too much trouble now that cameras are lighter. When you're making a movie on your phone, you're not gonna put your phone in a dolly. You just carry your phone around.
Christopher Nolan with the IMAX camera. talk about big dick energy on this one. The location for Hayden's home was the actual home of Robert Altman at the time. So that dude had that's literally his backyard was the beach. Like, it's not even like on the beach. Like from his backyard to water looked to be 50 yards, if that. You imagine that? Do you like the beach? Do you like?
Uh, I like I like it more like in my head than when I'm actually there. I don't like
I
sweating.
know my I know my anxiety and like paranoia would never allow, and obviously I don't have to worry about this because I don't have the kind of money to do that. But if I did, I would love to have a place on the beach for like the weekends that are really nice, but like I know just the upkeep would be hellacious, and then also like the fear of like when the tide comes in or big storms or whatnot.
Oh, see, I thought you were gonna say like the fear of like pirates just coming and arriving in your backyard.
How old are you, man?
Well, it sounded like you were gonna say something outrageous.
Oh
I just
no,
went to like the craziest scenario.
I was gonna say, but not this dude, not Robert Altman. He was like, "You build me the most expensive house, and you get it as close to the water as possible."
I wonder if the scene with the at the party when they're having the cookout out there, maybe that's all of Altman's
Mhm.
neighbors. He just threw a
Yeah.
party and brought the
Hey, want to be
camera
in a
out.
movie? You got to sign this. What is this? It's a non-disclosure agreement.
Is that Elliott Gould?
Shut up. Despite them getting John Williams, yes, that John Williams, to comprise the score for this, Hooray for Hollywood plays at the beginning and the end of the film, but all of the music in between there, so that takes up the rest of the movie, is just a variation or like um, a deviation from the original theme of the movie, and it becomes comedy towards the end. What you
Yep.
say of like,
Uh,
oh, here it is again. It's a different cover of it.
yeah. How long did it take you, Alex, to realize that that's what was happening?
It was like the Too Many Cooks thing. Like by the third time, I was like, wait, that's the same song. It's just a different melody.
Yeah. It was I think when the it's early in the movie, maybe 20 minutes into the movie, he gets out of jail, goes to the bar, and there's a guy that's practicing a song and he starts singing and I'm like, "Wait a second. That's the song from the beginning."
To help establish with the cast and crew the kind of tone they were trying to replicate, Robert Altman's circulated on set a little known letter that Raymond Chandler had written, as well as an essay collection, Raymond Chandler Speaking. Both pieces are notable for revealing Chandler's underlying suicidal tendencies. What?
I mean, not to spoil, but there is one character at least that commits suicide in the movie. So, and it is a writer. So,
I don't know what the idea is if he just sent that out and he's like, all right, everyone act like they're on the edge the entire time.
yes. Is it Raymond Chandler in Birdman when Michael Keaton's telling the story that he was in a play and some famous writer, it was a playwright, sent him like a note in a napkin saying "good job" or whatever. He's telling Edward Norton that story, and Edward Norton tells him, "Oh, he was drunk. That's why he wrote it in a napkin because he was drunk, and that was a napkin from his drink." I
Uh,
hope that was Chandler. I don't know.
you're way more taken by that movie than I was. So.
Absolutely was. I don't know, listeners. Fact check me. Is it Raymond Chandler? Who is it? If not,
The film was included on Roger Ebert's Great Movies list, so it wasn't just a random Rotten Tomatoes score that has this registered as one of the all-time greats.
good.
The adaptation process with Lee Brackett saw her changing things about the plot because she thought the book was just riddled with cliches, and so like had to modernize it, which I think it holds up to like our modern standards and whatnot, and faced the choice of making it a period piece or updating it, which obviously it was updated. And yeah, of course, and something like that. See, it's a crime. That's what it's going to be. So that is always a risk, though, that is taken with any adaptation of any literature, and I think it obviously works here.
Yeah, it's interesting because I understand that it might have. I haven't read the book, but the were those cliches when he wrote them. It's like, oh, we've come to know them as cliches now because
Yeah.
that genre of the detective genre, the noir genre, is just so well known that, yeah, you have to either lean harder on them or just turn them around, like she did in this movie.
It's like the King Kong thing where you watch King Kong, the original King Kong now, and people are like, God, that looks so fake. And it's like, well, people were like rioting in the streets in fear when this movie came out.
Yeah, nobody rioted when Peter Jackson did it. It's like sometimes it's better.
Oh, well, some people did because it wouldn't end. They were
Yes.
just, end this, please. And lastly, as of 2021, so, everyone was coming out of their COVID haze, and the National Film Registry in the U.S. was just like, fuck it, we're going to reward everybody by entering this in. So it's kind of surprising for a movie of its repute that it took until 2021 for it to be in the National Film Registry. If you're like me and ever look like that list up, there's some fucking weird entries in there. So for this to go so long is kind of fascinating.
They were just fucking with Elliott Gould. They didn't want to. They wanted him to keep trying. He got the call at 6 a.m. Are you ready for this?
Lit up the smoke. What do you got for me?
All right. Well, The Long Goodbye is a very entertaining movie. You should watch it and then listen to the episode, or you can just listen to the episode and hear Alex, Dale, and I kind of try to untangle the plot. But of course, the plot, it's a noir movie, so the plot is secondary. The plot is just an excuse for us to just hang out with Elliott Gould and all the people around him. So watch the movie, don't watch the movie. The main thing is listen to the episode. And then what's coming up next? Well, we're coming almost all the way to present day, as Alex must finally catch up with a franchise that he had long abandoned. Patron Chaz Fisher is making us do an episode on Jurassic World Dominion. And for me, that's not that much of a stretch because I've watched the other two Jurassic World movies. Alex, he only knows that Chris Pratt is in them. So,
and they're very fucking long.
Yes. So pray for him.
Pray for Mojo.
Yes. Thoughts and prayers for Alex. You probably all watched Jurassic World Dominion. Everybody was hate watching that movie a couple years ago, I think. So maybe last year. Anyway, Long Goodbye, Jurassic World Dominion, The Contrarians. It's all together. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to the podcast. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Take care. God bless.